fellas, you already know what it is.
What
Jacksonville and Miami this weekend. Miami, your tickets are less than normal. I don't know. Yo, I'm telling you, the Miami guys have not been messing with me.
Get fucking Sneeko to give you Sneekos down in Miami.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Ryan's Red Pill tour featuring Sneeko.
Everything else has been cooking, though. San Jose is almost sold out. Tacoma, we just had another show. Los Angeles, Cleveland, Chicago, Cincinnati, Columbus, Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh, Austin, Detroit, Portland, Phoenix, Plano, Toronto, Baltimore, Buffalo got added. And Detroit. All right, let's get into it.
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST.
God save the Queen. This is, you wanted to do a shout out.
I wanted to give a shout out to not the Queen, but the King of fucking England. You did it, Charles. We're proud of you. You went from Prince to your rightful throne.
You hung in there.
And now, thanks to the patriarchy, or no thanks, I don't know.
Patriarchy's back's what you're saying.
Big win for the It's literally back.
Yeah, this old woman. And by the way, so you are right. The patriarchy is officially back.
We back. We back, patriarchy.
Yeah.
Prince Charles. Sorry. King Charles.
The king.
All the Canadians out there, all the Australians, burn all your money. Rip it up.
Rip your money up.
With the
Send
Queen
it to
on
us
it.
and we'll rip it
yeah,
for you.
send it up to us and we'll do it an official American rip-up style. And then we're going to have new money with the king on it. Because the king is back.
The king is back. The queen. And you know what is extra weird? I don't know if I told you this because I was gone for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I kept getting all these voice notes from Queen Elizabeth saying, hey, if you don't want to meet, I know you have a podcast with pretty big numbers and I have all this information on this guy, Billy C is all I'm going to say.
Oh.
And she didn't want to go much further. I was like, can you just, I'm not going to be back in New York for a couple of days. So if you don't mind, we could just talk about this now. And she goes, listen, it's not safe on the wire. People are listening, but she wanted me to meet up at the Rippers, right? So she was going to send me a ticket, kind of like, OnlyFans chick style. She was going to send me down to come meet her at the Rips.
Fly you down?
She was going to fly me down. Yeah, she was going to fly me down, and she had some info on this guy, Billy C. I don't know who it is.
We'll never know.
That's what
the thing
I'm saying.
Is we're never going to know now.
But she started, and she messaged me. I can only imagine who else she messaged. She might have messaged...
I'm sure few people.
You know what I mean? Tom Segura could have that information.
I mean, whoever has that information, I would be fucking nervous right now if you are in possession of said information.
Well, she's gone. They took it out.
I know, but I'm saying maybe.
Who do you think that is? Billy Charles? Is that a guy?
I don't know. Billy C. Will Smith with a C?
Yeah, Will Smith with a C, but it's like
it's like a soft C.
It's a soft C?
Soft C.
I don't know, but she had some info on something. I don't know what it was about, but either way, it didn't look good for her that she was, spreading that around.
Yeah, I know, and now she's gone. Shout out to my grandmother, by the way, for outliving the Queen of England, who's old. She's older, because they say...
Another shout out for the dudes, your grandmother.
But you know how they say, he goes, yeah, she lived so long because she didn't fucking work a day in her life. She didn't do shit. She has the adrenochrome being, like, weekly adrenochrome sessions. My grandmother, just regular lady, outlived the Queen.
Yeah, take that, Queen.
Yeah.
And so I just got back from Austin, which is a fucking scene.
Yeah.
It is. It kind of reminded me of, so I went there, I did like Kill Tony, and so it's this the Vulcan Theater, it's this little hub, and everyone's there, you know what I mean? It's like, we're talking about the king, Mr. Rogan's there.
Rogies?
Who is, he's a sick dude, like exactly how you expect.
Yeah.
He was there, like Tony Hinchcliffe, like all their kind of regular guys, that are sort of in that mix. Ari Spears was going through his big controversy.
Oh, Ari Spears was there?
Yeah, he came through the day I did Kill Tony, and he was there, and people were
shitting
talking about
Lizzo?
him getting canceled and all that stuff. Well, he was shitting on Lizzo, and then they found some sketch that him and Tiffany Haddish made like years ago, which I actually haven't watched. I heard a bunch of people, so I'm not going to comment on it because I haven't watched it.
I didn't know it was a sketch. I thought that was just a sketch,
and apparently it was a sketch where they were like about like a dad who's or like a pedophile or something, but basically like. It was kind of like the cuties thing where they did it though.
Oh.
You're like, oh, imagine this, like in this sketch, the girl's giving, like, you know, sitting on my lap and doing all this stuff, but like they did do it.
Oh.
I think that was kind of the vibe, but I gotta watch it before
Okay,
I talk.
we'll
Because
watch
that's why I brought it up. I don't have a comment on his second cancellation.
He's
but
had
the
a
first
lot of shit,
cancellation
yeah.
was like pretty standard stuff, talking shit about Lizzo or whatever.
Yeah, he goes-
shit that he says about everyone.
Yeah, for sure. He's a fucking comedian. And everybody's like, you're fat. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not trying to be like picture of health.
Yeah. You know what? I had a weird comment that maybe you're not gonna like, but you know that guy Dion?
Yeah.
So he's like a big YouTuber, and he has all this stuff where he makes these videos about how he likes fat chicks and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he had Lizzo on his like live stream, and he was just like hitting on her the whole time.
She actually was on his live
He's
stream?
a big star, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he was that big.
Yeah, he got her on his live stream, and honestly, she was like pretty cool and funny.
I don't have
Yeah.
anything for
No,
Lizzo.
you've been saying that you said there's only room for one of us, literally. But anyways,
There's only room for one of us large fat queens.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, because all of her stuff is so inflammatory, I thought she'd be more annoying, and honestly, she seemed kind of like...
She's funny.
She seemed funny.
Yeah, I got no beef with Lizzo.
Yeah. So Lizzo seemed funny, but... So the thing that kind of was like, that I wanted to like mention, so Ron White, I did the episode with Ron White, then we went to this crazy jazz club, and it was like, Tony Hinchcliffe's band is, you know,
He's
all
a
of the top...
musician?
No, he has a band.
Oh, his band.
And
okay,
they're all these guys, they're like the top musicians. And it's kind of this like New Orleans-y scene where they finished his show and went out and played this other show. And
that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, like Ron White's there, all these, you know, legends.
Does he just always have just like a scotch in his hand at all times?
That's the vibe. And one thing that I noticed about him is I think he nailed the coolest way for like an older guy to dress. Because once you get to like 60 or something like that, you have to go fancy. And I think you go long hair. The long gray hair is cool.
Yeah, he has the guy who used to be the coach for the Jets or whatever, the foot guy. I can't remember his name now. I'm sure people. But
Yo, that's long gray hair,
long straight gray
fancy
hair.
suit. I mean, the black guys nailed it. That's the unusually fancy suit for normal life, right?
Yeah, super long
Funeral suit.
funeral suit. Your best funeral suit down to your knees.
You have your best funeral suit, and he has like, you know, fancy shoes and all this stuff. And yeah, you're right. He always did it. I don't know if he was drinking. I think it's possible that he quit.
Oh, okay. Because that was always on stage. He just has got like a. Did you get into the cigars?
Brian Simpson, very funny. Like there's a
Brian,
whole
yeah.
squad there. And the thing that was interesting about it, that kind of that made me, you know, think about, like, first of all, it's like energizing. So I get why people are so hyped up on Austin in that in that regard. But the other thing is that there is something about that like insulation, and it's like all, you know, so many good, you know, culture pockets happen in these tiny little scenes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because there's too much outside influence. Like even anyone that's making, like, has a company that you're hyper focused on, I feel like the more you look at this, the more you start even thinking about life wise, you're just like, oh, maybe I should be doing that. There's so many inputs that are coming in. You're looking at social media. Should I be focusing more on this? Like, too many inputs make you screwed.
And
you know
there's
what
no
I mean?
traditional industry there. Like nobody there is auditioning for stuff.
Nobody's
really.
getting involved with none of that stuff.
Yeah, you're just like doing stand-up podcasts and just living your life, and that's
Yeah.
it. There is no real external industry.
So they become these little arts hubs, and I try to create those little bubbles for myself. You know, you just try. You have to be good at anything, but it is like when you actually structurally do it. It kind of reminded me of like Tim Pool had that like compound, and they do sort of live in their own little world out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they kind of have to.
They do, and it's like, so you're only around people that are like funny and kind of you know, have similar goals than you.
Like, is there a very alty scene as well there? For
Yeah, there's
comedy?
both. Yeah,
There is. Yeah. Like that scene exists.
I'm sure if you talk to 90% of comedians, they're like, yeah, Joe Rogan and his 10 friends is not the Austin scene.
Yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, there's a whole scene outside of them. Like that's like the fucking.
We also like aren't even allowed to go to that club.
Yeah,
when
that's
he's
like
there.
the high school clique. Nobody's allowed to.
Yeah. So I am like, obviously I was like in a situation where it was cool that I got to do the shows and hang out with them and all that stuff. But I'm sure that you talk to most people, they're like, oh yeah, you thought that was cool. He's like, you know, there's something cool about just like being in the place, hanging out with the 5 biggest comedians in the world. Like,
oh yeah,
everyone's like, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, so I get what you're saying, of course. But I'm just saying, like, even people that are in mid positions and even in not like anything to do with entertainment, it did make me remember that you have to fucking find ways to like filter out all the information. And this was a good kind of interesting way to look at that, because these people, you know, there's people that are, you know, the #1 news story in the world once a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
So it's like, if you don't have that sort of, insulation from that, you'd lose your brain, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like, how many people do we know that are, have one little thing on tiny scales, and it's like they're losing their minds. You know what I mean?
And being in New York for sure too, or LA or whatever. It's a different thing out there. You're just dealing with so many more.
I think
factors.
New York's better than Los Angeles for that. You're more like, people, you meet up with people, I think, at the cellar. And I always said this, like, you meet up with people around here, and I think there's a little more of talking about what bit are you working on, or like,
Sure.
what's this, like, how was this show, as opposed to like, what show are you on? What thing did you get? Like,
Like what auditions are you going for? Like,
Yeah.
what writer's room are you in? Like, whatever, all that shit.
a little more industry talk than actual like art talk or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that it did remind me that you need to like guard your own brain from all of the information that's in the world if you want a kind of like, if you want your thing to keep progressing and getting better and filling in gaps, instead of looking at only new things, you're kind of looking at, how could I improve my little thing?
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the piece of advice is that everyone always needs to like re-up always, you know what I mean?
Guard your brain.
You do have to guard your brain, but
Yeah.
also you have to do equally as much
You got to filter out the noise.
of looking, internally in not always just being like, dude, I was so bad at that when I was young. I would be like, it wouldn't even be like, you know what, maybe I'm doing this wrong. It's like, maybe I'm doing the wrong career in the wrong country. Kids nowadays, they probably look at it, they go, fuck, I don't even know. Am I the right gender even? Like,
what is a gender? I don't even know.
they go, dude, you're going to school. You're like, going to school. Maybe I should be a prostitute in India and a boy.
Is prostitution the right profession?
Like, his choices are high. You know what I mean? But now, I think
abundance of choice right
you were
now.
choosing between being a rapper and a bunk.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm like, am I in a bunk
And a
band
white
or metal
rapper at
band?
that.
Yeah, or whatever. Right? What school you going to? I think these people are choosing between like, you know what I mean? Am I cut contact with my family? Am I going to try to go through just the thought of like, am I going to go through the traditional system of like going to university or trying to get a job, or am I like a digital nomad type?
Yeah.
And those are like real insane like life forks in your road for a lot of people.
Now, especially too, is like people kind of are starting to realize that the college thing is actually gonna likely fuck you over too. If you're taking over all this debt.
You're screwed.
Yeah, now it's even harder. You go, do I go in this crazy amounts of debt that likely I'll never pay back?
Dude, going to college now for most people is the equivalent of going through like as a human just walking through a car wash. You just come in, but
It's like a machine that just like picks you up by your ankles, empties out your pockets, and they go, "There's got to be more in there."
And then takes your brain and sort of fills it up with some nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's a guy with like an Asian guy sort of at the corner that's just paddling you too. He's just every now and then hitting you with a paddle. But he just
prods, pokes.
Yeah, because he just wants to sort of disorient you while you get your rincing.
Take the rinsing.
Then you come out of the other end and you go, okay, well, glad I went through that. Do I get my job? And they go, job?
No, you could have worked at Starbucks this entire time.
Yeah. So there's just so many choices in doing anything right now. And then you're just like, especially, and then it's not even just one thing, it's everything. You go, look at girls. You go, just, I used to be, maybe do I date these 3 girls? It's like,
And now they're men.
every girl in the world and every,
It's like, which girl do I want? And they go, surprise, they're men now.
It's just so many things that you didn't have to think about that I think increasingly the people that succeed at anything will be the people that are able to guard themselves off from they were able to make their options smaller.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not the best at that.
It's hard. There's a lot of stimuli.
And then on top of that, first of all, there's homeless people everywhere, but it was a really cool
in
3
Austin.
days. Yeah.
Our boys didn't get rid of them?
Buddy, it's almost worse than New York, where the homeless people are...
Well, because we don't allow tents here. That's the difference.
They do outside of my house.
Well, but those are still, there's no permanent tents, whereas like tent cities, they have those.
Sure.
Like you can like get a mailing, you can get mail to those.
That's true. Yeah. These people, that's a fixed address.
That's a fixed address.
Once they start nailing the pipes into the cement.
They're running plumbing and stuff. And
well, in LA, they actually are. I filmed there with Danny Mullen, and we talked to these people, and they were telling us it was like a bummer because they had to move because they had their whole like electrical system sorted out, and then they were building something there, so they had to move and get. So now they have to get their generator wired up to something else. These guys have like the 5-star restaurants there. You know, they have their own ecosystem. Yeah. It's Mad Max. You know what I mean?
Very, very much Mad Max.
People are in there. They're trading like beads and shoes for
they have their own economy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyways, I go to there, and there was a guy that that's actually having like an OD on the street.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess you do see that here, but it felt like par for the course.
Here, you're just so much more manageable to just ignore them. Dude, I walked to the studio this afternoon. This is how weird New York is and how just like acceptable craziness is. This guy was holding a stroller right by the Best Buy. He's holding a baby stroller, and he was having like this. He goes like yelling in public. He's holding a baby stroller on his shoulder, and he goes, "I got a fucking gun in here." He's like, "I'm gonna." And he goes, "These motherfuckers, you think you're coming out?" He's like a younger guy, like probably in his 20s. He's like, "I got a gun. What, you think you're gonna disrespect me?" It's like, "I'll shoot every one of you motherfuckers."
He's holding a baby stroller.
A baby stroller on his shoulder, and he goes, but he's like, but it looks like there could maybe be something inside of it. He goes, "I got a gun in here. I'm gonna shoot every one of you motherfuckers. You know how many bullets I got?" Literally, nobody acknowledges him at all. He might as well have been a tree. Like, he's talking about shooting up Union Square. Nothing. Nobody is. Everybody's just like, yeah, it's.
Yeah, you
New York.
do that, buddy.
Yeah, you do that, pal. It's New York. Everybody's like, don't acknowledge him. Like, just. Let him just tire himself out.
You're right, though. Small town. That's an episode.
Talking about shooting up like a fucking busiest, like in one of the busiest intersections in New York City.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Which I will say, I'm going to give a unrecommendation of a movie. It was called Breaking. And if there's anything that you take from me, you know, I like to give a recommendation here and there. Yeah. Avoid this movie at all costs. It was the biggest hunk of shit I've ever seen in my life. So basically the story is, it's a guy like that, homeless guy who used to be a veteran, and the veteran affairs owes him $800. So he decides he's going to go to the bank, hold up the bank to get and tell Veterans Affair gives him his $800, right? So it's based on a true story. So the real story is a crazy guy, which basically comes out. Obviously,
who's in it?
A little bit of that. I don't know. Some guy, no one. Bunch of fucking nobodies, right?
Bunch of nobodies making a piece of shit that nobody likes.
Buddy, you know how people talk about stakes in movies? There's got to be stakes. It starts out, he gets there, he kicks everybody out except for the two tellers, and then he tells the tellers, like, don't worry, like, if I do blow this place up, I'm blowing myself up, not you guys. So it's like, you guys are safe. Oh. So it's like, out of the gate, you're like, this character who's like having a mental break, who they didn't make you care about yet. You just like, okay, so already I don't care what happens. Because you go, so the whole thing was basically, it wasn't saving him from blowing up the bank. It was like, can we talk him down from blowing up himself, I guess.
Sure.
Which is
and
not,
like,
that's a bad plot line in a part
and you're
of
not that
show.
invested in him.
Invested, you just like, this is, I was trying to leave.
Yeah.
But and then on top of that, at the end of it, turns out his bomb was fake, which.
Is this hot dogs?
It was nothing. He just had a backpack with no bomb in it. And then on top of that, at the end of it, he shot himself. So like the real story was, and then they never mentioned how he had a gun, but it was basically like the New York kind of thing where it was a guy goes into a bank with a backpack and says, I've got a bomb, I need $800. Like that was that's what happened in real life.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Dog Day Afternoon. That sounds much better than that.
No, you watch Bullet Train, buddy. Bullet Train's a fucking piece of, should have won all the Oscars.
It's going to win them all.
It's the best movie I've ever seen.
Okay. We're
top 5 movies I've seen in 5 years, dude. And they did everything right. And they did the right amount of like, they still had big stars, but they obviously pandered to like all the things they had to pander to in a way that didn't bug you at all. Like they had, for example,
that's like a really hard, impressive thing.
Listen to this. They made Japanese guys the bad guys.
Yeah.
So basically there's like a Yakuza guy, but it was the white guy that came there and joined the Yakuza was the head bad guy. So, but they did it like that. And then
I was going to say, it's about time Japanese people got their comeuppance and then.
Nah, dude, they found a loophole. But it's still, honestly, that movie was incredible.
All right, I'm going to go see it. It's next
okay,
up.
so then I come back to Austin, or come back from there to New York, where I'm like, okay, outside of my house, I'm immediately back to, people fighting outside.
Yeah, I don't live there anymore.
I know. I'm getting out of the hood. Yeah. And then that starts. I get back in my house. At that same time, I got a Christian rock band that started playing. So You know, there's a church behind my house.
Yes.
So on the two windows of my house, window at the front, I literally started looking up places. I made an application. I'm moving, right?
I can't believe you lived there as long as you
On the
have.
front is two people yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs while playing music. On the back is a Christian rock group just belting it out. Full blast. They've got drums. They've
White or black?
got half and half.
That's not.
No, they were
That's
honestly
better than all
awesome.
white. Oh, they're
The
good.
Christian rock band was
Yeah.
Christian rock bands know how to play. Dude.
I know.
Well, because these guys are playing for the Lord, dude. They're trying to. They know if they screw it up, they're going to hell.
Yeah.
But they're belting out all the hits, and I'm looking out the window. There's 30 people watching. It's a little congregation. They all know every word.
They're playing
right?
like in that little lot?
In the lot.
Oh, so they're not even indoors?
Oh, buddy, no.
fucking-
Went on for 3 hours. The only thing I could do is stand right in the middle of the fucking apartment and then wear headphones. These guys are, hey, now Jesus.
Like rock? It's
It
all
was
Christian
a
rock?
mix of everything. They were like a cover band. If I were to guess, most of these weren't originals. You know what I mean? Like if the people there knew every word, right? They couldn't have been that big of fans. And the one thing that was funny was there's the priest with the priest outfit, probably like 40 years old. He was in the front row, like he was their biggest fan. He knew every word. He was like the guy. You know how the small band that has like the one super, like in Flight of the Conchords, the one girl.
No,
Like I like the idea that this like the band like Rock for Jesus, they just have this one priest who buys all their merch. Like
The super fan.
songs for heaven.
He comes. He's just at every show. He goes, all right, we'll be playing Harlem tomorrow. He's there again. He goes, and they see him and go, hey, like, we're gonna kind of play the same set list as yesterday.
He wouldn't have cared. Dude.
Yeah,
He
I
would
know.
love
He
it.
goes, oh no.
He's gonna
don't mind me. Just don't even pretend like I'm not even here.
Dude, they're probably touring in the Christian band with like a big cross on it. The priest is in his like Mazda behind them. Like he's just trailing. He's like, one day he wants to get on the tour bus. That'd be a big treat for him. With I don't know what they'd be called. Like, probably like Rock 415 or something.
Or there was like
Resurrection's
resurrected. There's probably in the history of Christian rock bands, I'd say 10% of all of them are called Resurrected.
There's a lot of Resurrected. Jesus is a savior. It wasn't. I think the singer had a little more of like a. You know what? Every music's just turned into pop music. Like country music's just pop music with a twang. Church music's just pop music with a little bit more, I don't know, soul.
See, that's why the black church music's the best, because that's like R&B and I don't know.
These guys had a little bit of that. They had a drummer that was black.
Yeah.
They usually go drummer black, bass player black, and then keyboard player is 50-50. And then guitar players are white. That's generally my synopsis on the church
I
life.
know. I've seen a lot of the black guitar players, but a lot of the keyboard players are white guys with long hair.
White guy, long
Old white
hair.
guy ponytail.
But there is a black keyboard section too. It's
And sometimes they're all
50-50.
black. Sometimes it's just all black church. And
These
they're all
guys
just
were
fucking,
belting it out.
those are the good ones.
The lead guitar player was shredding for
Was he?
God too. Yeah, he was shredding like his. He was shredding like he's at
Flying V?
Heaven's Gates, dude.
Like flying V guitar, just really getting in.
Like his eternity dependent on it. Those guys are gonna get to heaven, and he's gonna be like, you did, cheat on your wife, and he's like, did you hear the yeah, but you heard the demos, right?
Yeah, you heard the demo.
Yeah, excuse me, coming through. Member of Resurrection. He's probably, that guy probably gets front seat in heaven, dude. He was rocking out. So, you said that one of your favorite things was the king coming back for Britain, right?
Yeah.
There was some people saying wild things about that too, like girls, like a lot of people. There's a lot of the leader of a racist patriarchal blood colonized empire, whatever, right?
Yeah,
like, people are getting
all
the
the buzzwords.
People are going hard trying to go viral on this one.
Oh,
right?
I know. Dunking on the queen, being like, "Oh, I guess she's gonna go colonize heaven now. Watch out!"
It's funny dunking on the queen. You got your zinger on the queen's death.
Yeah.
I wonder if Ari Shafir got one in.
I bet he did. I mean, I would be sad if he didn't.
Yeah. But that was your favorite. My favorite was, because this is sketches I've done and this is my favorite when the sketches I do come true, but I did, should there be more women torturers, right?
Yeah.
Enhanced interrogation. And then, so basically there's this organization, Girls Who Code, right? It's probably one of my favorite organizations.
Yeah, it's girls Who code?
They learn to code.
They learn to code.
And 50% of our money from the BOYSCAST, people don't know this, goes to girls who code, right?
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah.
I thought we should be sending more.
But, so Girls to Code has a new partner. And you might be wondering, oh, who is it? So this is the same Girls to Code that last year, Girls to Code terminated a relationship with Activision in response to some workplace harassment. So do you remember?
Yeah.
Activision was in a little hot water.
Yeah, just because one person there was probably inappropriate with some woman.
I don't know exactly.
And then they go, that's it.
Yeah.
We refuse to be associated with the type of company that would allow a staff member to be inappropriate with another staff member.
But we do have a new partner that we would like to announce, and that is Raytheon.
Raytheon?
That's my favorite.
Can't make this up.
You actually can't make that up.
That's their line. You go, you're fine with Raytheon? They go, you see the kind of checks Raytheon's cutting us? It all comes out of money in the end, because they go, yeah, we weren't really getting that much.
It all comes down to money, but it also does come down to the, I guess the progressive thing, because basically Raytheon was, all these weapons manufacturers were making all these, pushes being like, look we got the first, one-eyed drone striker and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Look at the head of our the head of our drone strike department's retarded,
100%. Look at this one. It's made by an Asian.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they were saying, right? But the Raytheon thing, it basically does show it's the same thing as kind of the value system is so funny because it's like, we hate cops. World police are fine, obviously.
Course,
It's the kind of thing because it's like if you take all the little things that they would do, it's like, we really hate the police here, but it's like, we're kind of fine with police in other countries.
Obviously.
American.
Now,
which is the army, essentially.
Are we sure that Raytheon doesn't have some sort of heat-seeking missile that hones in on sexual harassers? Maybe they go, look, we understand we have this thing, so we built this new missile where if someone's sexually harassing someone, like a cat caller, it'll just find a cat caller and it'll
they program it, but they wanted to get sexism that's happening in Afghanistan, but the missile also got programmed this other thing, so it's sort of it goes after and then it's just it kind of stops in the air, doesn't know what to do, and then it comes back and hits some bodega owner that cat calls.
Yeah, in New York City, you go, mission accomplished. We didn't say there weren't going to be bugs. You gotta crack a couple eggs if you want to make an omelet,
That's how we programmed it like that. Girls We Code. We go, listen, we want to announce our new partner, Marlboro. But we will say we're not working with this company because they don't put enough gay people in their video games. But we would like to announce our Monsanto partnership.
Yeah, Monsanto Queens. Marlboro, those super skinny cigarettes. Those are for girls. They literally make cigarettes for girls.
Yeah. We're working with big weapons contractors. It's so great though. But they said we're overjoyed to partner closely with Raytheon Technologies on this pilot program. So excited for the opportunity to continue to provide students the tools and confidence they need to make a difference. You know what the thing is? It is the problem. The funny part is that this organization's built on the kind of premises of we're not going to work with anyone that has our morals don't align.
Yeah, so we got to uplift women first and foremost. I think that's they're female supremacists is what they are, right? So there's look uplifting women first and foremost, and they're like, yeah, if you guys go bomb a bunch of dudes in fucking Afghanistan,
you think that's what it is?
Seems like it's good for women at the end of the day.
Yeah, right. Because they're what a lot of them are probably saying yeah, I'm going to work with Raytheon and I'm going to be on the Save Ukraine division.
Yeah, exactly. Bombing Russia, all the bad people in Russia, all the bad men.
Yeah,
they probably in their mind they go, yeah, but who's getting bombed? Guys.
You know what else?
Guys are on the receiving end of bombs.
It's also a funny move for Raytheon too, because those big companies are just they're essentially injecting themselves with a virus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there is also, you go, hey, good. We have good news. We're partnering with these 200 activist women that just fresh out of college. They're
don't see any problem here.
It's gonna fast forward to 6 months later. It's 10,000 high up layoffs in Raytheon.
You know what though? I was thinking about this similar to the because you know the dude from Arcade Fire who's in all this trouble for grooming or whatever.
Yeah.
So and the real issue is he's not grooming. He was having sex with girls who were like in their 20s.
His was nuts. Arcade Fire, and people probably know that band, but it's Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian, but
Yeah.
they're like one of the biggest bands in the world. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won Best Grammy for Best Album and all that
And
stuff.
Feist dropped off his tour.
Feist dropped off his tour, Win Butler, and all he essentially did was 4 women came forward. Well, 3 women and a non-binary person.
Yo, the non-binaries, he's like, he was on tour having sex with non-binaries. He's like, you made your own bed. You knew those.
No, he used to be when he was with her. That shit
okay.
didn't even exist anymore. That didn't even exist
I
anymore.
thought that one was from like a few years ago.
No, that's a new one. No,
Okay.
no. They are recently non-binary.
I'll tell you what, when it comes to, trying to ruin your life, they're fairly binary.
Yeah. Get him. But his whole thing was he was like this good boy. And then he was cheating on his wife and having sex. But people are trying to be like, yo, he's a criminal. You're like, he's not a criminal. He had sex with people who are legal age. But the thing
Dude,
with
the one girl's like 22.
I know, it's crazy.
Yo.
And she goes, yeah, he took advantage of like power dynamics because like he DM'd me and he was a famous band person and I was a fan of the band. That's the power. That's the power dynamic. You're like, what are you talking about? But anyways, my point with this Raytheon thing is that Raytheon, they could always at the end of the day just drop them, and people go like, "Oh, Raytheon's bad because they got rid of this whole program." You go, "Yeah, but we were bad this whole time, though."
You're saying that's a benefit.
They can always get rid of this,
But they are desperately trying to get good press. These weapons contractors do have like crazy publicity teams.
Yeah, I mean they
Well, because their whole thing
companies.
hinges on governments giving them these massive contracts, and then like it's probably a little hard for them to go to someone who's like campaigning or just won an election, or is like if Biden's a little less popular, and they go, there's been 100 headlines about how Raytheon's so bad. He's like, maybe this isn't the best time to ask for our billion, our today's trillion.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, so I think they put like massive amounts of effort into publicity.
Yeah, of course. I
And
mean,
this
they're a
is
huge
just that.
company, too.
This was like someone at Raytheon being like, you know what, we're getting some heat on this other thing. I've got the solution. Girls who code.
Girls who hear me out. 3 words. Girls who code.
Are you with me?
Are you with me or what?
But it's 10 guys in a room smoking cigars, being like, so crazy, it just might work,
Yeah.
But I think they're wrong. I think this is gonna fucking. Every time you put it like these kind of things in, they come out and they go. But it's gonna seem funny too because they're like, yeah, the one guy made an inappropriate comment to me. Oh, what day was that? Oh, the day that we bombed a wedding.
It happened.
I don't know. I can't remember the exact day, but it was the one we were bombing all those weddings. Anyways, he said I looked hot.
Yeah. So that's the kind of fucking PR that Raytheon wants, anyways.
We're
Bury the wedding bombing. Make it about some offhanded statement that was made.
I know, right? Yeah, maybe that is the plan.
Maybe it's diabolical.
Maybe that's so crazy. It just might work where they go, we're gonna bring in all of these like activists. What they're gonna do is be like, oh, 4 or 5, guys were inappropriate or they're sexist or this one guy said a racist joke or whatever. Then Raytheon gets to like fire 10 guys and be like, problem solved.
Yeah.
We're good now.
Yep.
And be like, yeah, I know everyone said we're bad, but like we just fired all the bad apples. And they go, that wasn't the reason we were saying you're bad. And they go, no, oh, you're saying that's not a problem?
Yeah.
We fired some bad apples.
Can't argue.
So maybe that's the plan.
4D chess at Raytheon.
Yo, it's an arms dealer.
I know.
To Saudi Arabia.
They're protecting America, though.
Yo, it's all the companies that are like, where all the countries too, where like girls, a lot of the deals are with a lot of those places where the girls have like, wildly restricted.
Yeah, they're like not allowed to drive. And
maybe these people are like, well, change it from the inside.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I feel like that is whenever you hear these organizations, this is the most tale as old as time. It'll be like 10 people that are like, we're gonna start the like make the world better organization, and we're gonna try to like get rid of bigotry and fight bad people. And then who they always get rid of is like guy number 3 at the organization.
It's the fall guy.
No. I'm saying that no. They don't. They don't even get to the organization. All they do is like fire each other, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's no.
They generally like it'll be like an improv against like an improv troupe, and then all that happens is they kind of like get rid of the people in the improv troupe that weren't activists enough or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty like par for the course.
Yep.
Students partaking in the program will be in contact with mentors from Raytheon. Yeah, those mentors are coming at you.
Yeah, I'd love to see what a
Yo, baby, you want to put your finger on my finger? We'll do it together.
Come on, let's press that backspace.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do it together.
Let's do it together.
That backspace button's got room enough for both of us.
Yo, spin it. Yeah, this is an old Will Smith song back in the day, but he goes, baby girl, I'm going to take this globe, put your finger on it, I'm going to spin it wherever it lands, I'm going to take you. He goes, where you put your finger on this globe, I'm going to spin it wherever it lands, I'm going to blow that thing to smithereens.
Feel how good it feels. Press the button.
Yeah.
Go see that city? Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, girl, you feel like a woman.
The
power. The power. Interview prep and community service projects. Networking events. They're going to get to network. Ooh, that's fancy.
Yeah,
Girls We Code gets to go to the networking
You think all these girls are like, oh my God, that's Dick Cheney!
Raytheon networking events. Yo, networking events.
Oh my God, that's John Bolton! Ah!
Yo, going to like an event that they go, it's like specifically a networking event is so funny.
And that's also like the least cool tech company that you could possibly ever
Network
get.
with?
You're like, there's all these, you could be work at Girls Who Code, you could work at Twitter, you could go network with Tesla or Facebook or whatever, and they're like Raytheon.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's the recruiter from Halliburton.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that guy? He just did $1 trillion propeller deal. Yeah, it's a little less sexy, huh?
Yeah.
For girls, at least.
For girls.
It might be a little more sexy.
They all want to go work at Twitter and shit.
I know. So anyways, Girls Who Code. Fellas, we're going to take a quick break to tell you about a new sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, football fans, Danny is but you said you're betting on the Lions as per usual.
Betting on the Lions. It's their year, baby.
That's you've been saying that.
It's their year.
Not the Argos.
Not the Argos.
Didn't play. That's something you had to learn the hard way.
Ticats, man.
Yes, the first Sunday of the NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the return of the NFL season. Back, baby! Colin was actually just trying to get people together for Game 1, too, so fellas could be rocking over there, and I could be hitting the Sportsbook bet. Right now, this is the offer. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. So this one's kind of cool. Simple. Bet on an NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10 points at any time during the game, at any point, you get paid instantly. And even if your team loses, you still can win that bet. And that's 10 points anytime in the game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code BOYSCAST to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday. That's code BOYSCAST. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Also, we're going to tell you about Babbel. We've been telling you about Babbel. You trying to impress these ladies out here with a new language? Trying to be a suave dude, you're traveling around.
Suave dude.
If you're like me, and there's a foreign language that you regret not learning in school, there's a million, I was just having this conversation with someone else, that there's a million reasons why these teach you better than the way they do actually when you're in school, because it's too hypothetical.
Yeah.
But it's never too late to start with Babbel. Babbel is the language learning app that's sold more than 10 million subscriptions thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons. You can finally cross learning that new language off your list. With Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson, so you can start having real-life conversations in a new language in as little as 3 weeks. So one of the things is you can do them on the plane, and that's I was cruising through the app when I was on the plane, and it's like, I don't know, it's just set up in a way that it's super easy to do and you can kind of do when you have little chunks of time. So other language apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel's lessons were created by over 150 language experts, voiced by real native speakers and not computers, and their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective. Choose between 14 different languages: Spanish, French, Italian, German, you name it. And there's many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition, the lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So start a new language learning journey today with Babbel. I think the fellas will like it. And if you want right now, get up to big discount coming at you. 55% of your subscription when you go to babbel.com/boyscast. That's babbel.com/boyscast for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, a language for life. You know what I was thinking? I feel like I had a point when I was on the plane pondering.
Yeah.
Is do you know one of the things that people argue about a lot is people will say white privilege, and then some people will be like, well, I'm poor, I don't have white privilege, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you can understand, and their argument is like, well, yeah, what it was just your skin color didn't make your life harder. That's what their argument is. And then the argument against that is like, you have like if you take our deck of cards, you have a better deck of cards than me. So it's like, yeah, you're right. I have a easier
That's
on
one
that
card.
one.
Yeah,
one
of
card.
course.
And it's like, yeah, you're rich. So it's like like you would go, you know, how crazy it is for a rich person. And that's the other argument, right? But I was saying that, like, I feel like the people who can't get that, girls, not always, but like I was just saying, like, I feel like an argument that could be made to girls is
Let's just say to people who are more emotional with their reasoning versus
but I'm saying there's guys too,
logical.
but my
Yeah,
argument,
I understand that.
Yeah. My argument, but yeah, whatever, just people who like think like that, right? But my argument that I feel like they might get is the equivalent of saying that, you know, there's like, you could equivalent, because really what most of that time is what they really mean is like rich privilege, right?
Yeah.
The same way that you could go, girl privilege, you could call it girl privilege, but really it's hot privilege mostly.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, when you say girl privilege, you're like, oh, she gets everything easy. It's like, well, she doesn't if she's 700 pounds and looks like a dude. You know what I mean?
No, but she still gets it easier than a 700-pound dude.
Maybe not. It's than a 700-pound dude, but maybe not than a normal guy.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's not the easiest.
I mean, you could make a privilege out of everything.
No. But my point is, it's the same thing where you go, the equivalent of saying like, oh, girl privilege, you get to go to Saudi Arabia and you get to have some guy that's like rich and he'll fly you around in your yacht because you're a girl. And she goes, I don't. He goes, yes, but your gender's not making it more difficult to get flown around on that yacht. But that's the exact argument.
Yeah, I agree. It's nonsense.
Well, I don't know. You didn't think of it. I did.
I mean, the privilege stuff?
Well, you give me another analogy on the spot.
Of what? Of why privilege is nonsense?
No, of another analogy where you can
I don't know.
use that.
I mean, anything. You're fucking
I'm
someone
listening.
with one arm, and they go, yeah, I can't be a quarterback in the NFL because I don't have an arm or something.
What would you call it?
Arm privilege?
Well, people don't say that, though. They say hot privilege and they say girl privilege.
Yeah, I mean, there's...
Or male privilege. People do say that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an analogy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what I'm saying, though. It's the equivalent of saying that, yes, you're right. If you're it's a privilege that only girls can get, like hot privilege. You have to be a girl to get the like hot girl privilege.
Absolutely.
But
or a
there's plenty
famous
of-
man.
Famous man.
LeBron James has the same privilege as a hot girl. If you're basically once you like, so I can't remember who said it. Maybe Joe Rogan said it.
Okay, so
but
you
you're
can
like
use the example that I just described, which was a rich guy's going to fly you down to bang him. Like, I don't think that LeBron James is getting some like billionaire woman saying like, "Hey, I'll fly you down to have sex with you."
He just wouldn't do it.
Well, maybe not, but I just don't even think the offers come in.
Where would you even send such?
Well, I don't think that that's happening a lot with like Hollywood actresses either. I think if you messaged Anne Hathaway and you said, "Hey, I got an island," I'll give you
Anne Hathaway dated a fucking scam artist. She was married to a guy that was a con artist. That is, by the way,
Stupidest
the
reference.
funniest story ever.
What did she do?
She literally, Anne Hathaway was married to this dude who like was a total con artist, conned her, and she like didn't find out about it until like they had been married for
like
several years. He was like the original Tinder swindler.
Come on.
He got so in deep that he married Anne Hathaway.
Really?
And they were married, and then she found out his whole life was a lie. Like everything, like worse than the Dirk Nowitzki thing. Like the whole thing was a lie, and then she just like divorced him and like she doesn't really talk about it. I think he went to jail too. Actually, he was like a total.
Did he get any of her money?
I don't think so.
So
no,
okay,
but
he didn't.
But he dude.
He didn't have follow through.
Imagine when you're like you're like, yeah, I'm gonna like lie to get a date with Anne Hathaway, which I'm sure a million guys
What
would
did
do.
he lie about? Say I work at Raytheon or one of those
Something like a hedge fund,
jobs
or
that girls
all
love.
stuff. And then I think he started running like a Ponzi scheme or something to like keep up the appearances. It's a pretty crazy story. And then she found out and fucking.
So that was not.
But
the best
didn't find
reference.
out. No, not the best.
Well, speaking of, not even really speaking of,
No, speaking of.
New York Post, and I've been seeing this kind of coming up a lot lately, but they got very anti-Bugman Reddit, Rick.
Yeah.
So basically, they're doing these. You hear this a lot, and I'm not the most like, oh, fucking boomers or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes they push their luck. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you go with these people. They're writing articles saying that they go, millennial dads have pathetic DIY skills compared to baby boomers, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't mind when people kind of, even Gen X is, talking shit or whatever. But when like a 60-year-old guy is like, you guys can't even fix a shed. It's like, you can barely use a fucking computer.
Yeah, for sure. Also, millennials have been like electrocuted way less than boomers.
Oh, of course. And there's so many reasons. And first of all, you go, this is the thing. It's like, what the other thing they realize, you go, hey, your generation's like Gen X is all the billionaires, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's like these people, it's like clinging on to this, like, I can fucking, but I can put a shed together. And it was like, yeah. And they have an app now where you can hire someone to do that really easily.
Yeah,
they also like solved a lot of these problems. And then there's more important things where they go, yeah, millennials like have a way worse deal where they can't even afford homes, most of them. So one of the things they're like, millennials, most millennials don't have a step ladder. It's like, yeah, they don't have a house, so why would they?
Yeah, but if they didn't spend all their money on people to do their bug man work for them, they'd have money for their homes.
A new poll of 1,000 millennial dads and 1,000 baby boomer dads found that when a DIY task need to be done at home, more than half of millennials prefer to call a professional. Well, it's like, there's so many things. First of all, most millennials' wife works, so you have two people working in the house, which means, and then all of the new stuff, you sort of get forced to do a lot of girl jobs a lot of times. So it's like a lot of these guys that before they're like, yeah, and I fix the things. And you're like, yeah, a lot of people now, the guys have to do all fucking cleaning and bullshit like that.
Absolutely. There's no time. I've been doing a lot of anti-bug man stuff though recently. Because I moved in, putting things together.
Oh yeah, probably bad. I have specific.
I put this one thing together. Actually, it's really funny because we have not that much space in our apartment, and so it's like one of those over the toilet like hutch things to put toiletries, and then you need to like secure it to the wall, but it's tile, which I didn't think about that. So it's like literally just like sways every time you open it. Everything falls out of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, why?
But whoever put that together would have done the same job because you can't secure it.
Well, if you are, like,
dude, stuff's literally falling into the toilet. Like you open it and then a bunch of stuff's falling into the toilet.
Take it down. Hire someone. This is the thing, because Danny probably listens to this boomer rhetoric and he goes, yeah, you're right. I do need to not be a bugman anymore. His girl probably yells at him like a real man.
Honestly, you know what?
I don't get played by those games.
No, she's like,
I go date one.
No,
man.
she goes call the person. And I don't know. I kind of like
everyone around you tells you to call the person.
I like fixing stuff sometimes. Anything that I feel like I fix, you get a sense of accomplishment. You fix something, you know.
I had a big IKEA cabinet, and literally, my chick goes, hey, just like wait till I come home to fix it. Don't do it. And then I messaged her 5 minutes later, broke it. Tried to squeeze the things together.
Yeah, be careful.
This article is really trying to take a shot at me.
Yeah.
But, and so obviously I get the idea where you go, listen, dudes are, more feminine in a certain way. But like some of this stuff is structural, where it's like, a lot of people work in fucking jobs where they're not, construction workers anymore. You know what I mean?
Also, if you live in something like you live in an apartment or a condo, then you don't need any of these skills because you're not allowed to do any of this shit.
Of course.
Like what? Like, I mean, obviously be able to like hammer a nail to hang a picture, but
yeah,
there's lots of stuff that, I don't know. You're not
and then also people have kids later too, right? So it's like there's a big part of, people, let me go to the shed and fix stuff to get away from these people and all that stuff. And it was like now, it's a little, you have, you're not getting away from the wife. She has her own job. So they have, they have more stuff.
Yeah, you both work at home, unfortunately, still.
Now, yeah.
You both still work at home.
So if I'm going to go fix something, it's going to have to be at my buddy's house.
You just go to the park and just hammer a bench or something.
But one of the main things is like, the reason why I'm like actually bringing this up is it all kind of comes to that like efficiency thing, where if you're really saying like, what you're trying to do is like optimize your life, right? And if you're like, hey, I make X amount of dollars, I can hire someone for $30 for something. There's so many things where you go, you only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And the same reason why a lot of people will rationalize that it makes sense for me to like order this as opposed to go shopping. Like,
100%.
But there's a million things. Like, why do some people, when they're in that position, order groceries instead of go shopping? Because like, that's an hour that's like valuable that you could use for other things.
Absolutely is.
And people got so much more specialized, period. Not to say that's always a good thing, but over the last little while, how much like specialization things got way more like that in terms of what jobs people do too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are certain issues where you actually can just fix it yourself and it doesn't take up time or whatever.
Like what?
I have a very specific thing that I do.
Toilet clog. Do you want to fix yourself? You don't have to face the music on it.
No, see, I like to call the plumber and show him my fucking work. I go, no, like my.
You have to call a plumber with a big one in there.
No, I've had to call a plumber for like a sink clog, but never for a toilet clog. No, a toilet clog, I'm just like,
dude, that's the most.
I'm moving out.
There's nothing more embarrassing than having to tell people.
Blame it on the girl. He goes, "It's a fucking."
I clogged at some of my friend's parents' house once,
and it was unfixable.
No, it was not. It was my friend's. His parents were there. It was like I guess his uncle's house.
No.
So I was like a very removed guest, but they had a swimming pool, and a couple of us were at the house. And I saw that that water started rising, my friend. No. So
looking around, you go,
the only good thing is it was more like actual water. Like it was one of those ones where it sort of actually somewhat flushes then clogs as opposed to the brown water flowing over.
That's the worst when it starts flow and then you try and flush it, hit it again, and you go, that was a mistake. And then it starts literally coming over.
If I was to kill myself, I think that's how I'd do it.
Well, just stick your head in the bowl. It's just coming over.
Yeah. Yo, that bowl starts rising up. Nothing's tougher. Yo, that'd be the worst to be a girl having that happen, man.
It's nightmare.
Being a girl like at a guy's house on a date. Every Ben Stiller movie, basically. I think Ben Stiller
remember there was the girl. There was like he does. That's the gagger.
That's Ben Stiller's.
But there was this girl who was on a date, and then she fucking took a shit, and this guy's. It was like a big viral thing. She took a shit in his.
Took it out in a bag.
Yeah, took it out. Remember?
I actually get the move.
Took it out in a bag, but then the bag got stuck, and she had to she got stuck trying to get.
No. She locked the bag inside and then couldn't get back in the house.
Or something like And
she accidentally went out and the bag left a bag inside, so she just left the log of shit on his fucking. Oh man!
No, but the thing I fixed is last night.
Yikes.
I accidentally left the freezer door unhinged, and then the fan got all this ice on it, which is what is happening in the studio actually with our fridge. You could hear it, and then you have to defrost the freezer. But that was like a kind of non-Bug Man thing that didn't take any time.
I have no problem. I'm like.
But the noise was so annoying.
But that's one of those things where when anyone tries to get you on, it's like you don't fix stuff. It's like, dude, the things in here, they're like, and millennials won't fix tires as much. And it was like, dude, if my car breaks, you pay, I have a service where I paid $150 a month, and you can have within 20 minutes, anyone would come fix your thing for you.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, yeah, you're right. It cost me $20, and I'm not sitting in the middle of the highway with a bunch of wrenches, like in the rain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Losing a screw, you drop a screw, it rolls over there. Now you're like crawling through.
Anytime
dirt.
Safety is at risk, I don't do it. If there's like a safety component where you're like, this could be unsafe for the future, I'm out.
Safety of me, my general well-being of wanting to do this shit. Want nothing to do with this nonsense.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't have kids. There's like people are more specialized, and on top of that, they're like, look at this. Our sons don't know how to do anything, and be like, I guess wouldn't that be you that didn't teach them?
Well, also half of those sons are daughters now. What are they meant to do?
Right. But that's what it is. You go, these boomers, it's like a self-own for like a 60-year-old guy to be like, my 3 kids can't do anything. And be like, I guess you were crappy at being a dad? I don't know.
But also this is New York Post. New York Post is kind of would.
Nah, they've been coming out with this Andy Bugman rhetoric.
That's what I'm saying. Boomers, they would because they're boomers.
Yeah.
New York Post is all conservatives.
But they do. I'm telling you, guys get forced to do more like normal girl jobs and stuff because the division of labor changed. So you go, well, then fine. We're paying with our money for a guy to come do this then. We're adding a third man in. He's going to do my shit.
A surrogate, if you will.
We're having a surrogate fixer.
Yeah. Surrogate Bugman.
Yeah, definitely. Millennial dads are less likely than their boomer counterparts to be able to change a car tire on the side of the road, unblock a toilet or sink, reset a tripod circuit breaker, or even open a stuck pickle jar with their hands. So that one doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah,
I mean,
stuck pickle jar?
I can open a jar. But you go the other ones, you go, this is where, as much as I was giving like rationalizations, is also, it's like, yo, you guys, go run a Discord server.
Go deal with 45 crazy unhinged people dropping N-bombs nonstop on a Discord server, and then you come back to me.
Yeah.
Tell me a problem about your toilet.
Yeah, like, go upload a video on TikTok right now. It's like these people, the way that they talk, they go, yeah, you don't understand, like, all of the new world. And by the way, this is the world that matters more now, too. It's not like, if you look at the future and you go 100 years from now, well, I guess it could go one of two ways, where it's like apocalypse, where like now the bugmen are really getting screwed. But it could also go the other way in 30 years, where you're like, yeah, that stuff, you go, that all got like real solved. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Changing your tire changes itself. You know what doesn't change itself, Boomer? This Discord server.
I cannot figure out the permissions. We actually had it in the BOYSCAST Discord server. Someone messaged me, go, yeah, just so you know, like anybody can make themselves an admin and they can just take your server. And you go, oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Well, but it was like that for over a year. Nobody said anything.
These editing programs, like file sizes, all of this stuff, like figured out how to run a social media campaign. Like some of these guys, I remember even when I was young in the band, it was like, I used to say, if you wanted someone to do this job, hire an 18-year-old, because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No.
Dude, the amount of money a lot of these big marketing companies spend just because they have no clue how the fucking internet works.
Yeah, that's all they know.
And then, people are making real money on the internet. Just, like if we have buddies that are just like, doing like Amazon drop shipping stores and stuff like that, making cash. And it was like, so I don't need some guy that's worked on a fucking line for 50 years to tell me.
No.
Right,
we're a bug man.
You don't know how to work a drill? I could buy you.
I buy and sell pieces of shit like you every day, pal.
That's such a funny one. But
You think there's going to be a Bugman dating app? Bugman, bug women?
It is sort of like a cope, though, for... yeah, bug. I mean, I think it is, but it's only bug men. It's definitely a dating app for...
It's a different kind of Bugman.
That dating app does exist.
Yeah. It's a different kind of Bugman.
Bug grinder. I tell you, though, if I had some... Yeah, especially... Because there is something to be said about the fact that all of the real billionaires that kind of changed the world in the last little bit were all Gen X.
Yeah, that's true.
Like those, there's the boomers are the old money where it's like, we ran, the
Vanderbilts.
Yeah, you started
we lost all our family's money. That's what they're all doing. They go, we lost all our family's money.
That's what they're all doing. That's what their bug men are doing.
Yeah.
So... Millennial dads reported not owning a cordless drill. I own one of those. Step ladder. Why would I own a step ladder?
I don't own any of these things.
Why would you own a step ladder?
Just to get up.
I have a drill because I'm always drilling, dude.
Been drilling.
I'm a big driller. No, I'm always putting up stuff.
Oh, see, I always just use the
I'm a big
nails.
Art guy.
Me too, but I
got to put my skull photos.
It's funny you use it. You don't need a drill for that.
What?
You don't even need a drill for that.
You do some places. A set of screwdrivers or even a hammer. Well, I mean, yeah, you can get one. I will say it's good to probably just get like one kit that you just have forever.
You know what
you do? You buy one kit, you just have it forever.
But I had that, but then when I moved to New York, I was like, what do I need this for? So then I never brought it with me. I think I got rid of it. So then I was just hanging pictures the other day, and I don't have a hammer, and obviously my girlfriend doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have a
hammer. My girlfriend doesn't have a hammer. So I was using a tape measure as the hammer,
or a can of
and then I destroyed
something.
the tape measure.
I guess this is what they're talking about.
It just smashed apart in my hand.
Yeah, but so they're talking shit, and you're right. But can they run a crypto Ponzi scheme?
No. Absolutely not.
So these people, they're able to put a photo on the wall, but can they short Dogecoin, long Bitcoin like you?
No.
What do you think about this? There should be someone should do like a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the impressions of like a trend, like Ukraine or like hashtag free the nipple or like our BLM or how these things kind of become the biggest thing in the world, and then you don't hear about them, obviously, right?
Sure.
It really does, right? But you should be able to track that and bet on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like bet on the trend of like when it's going to end?
Well, it would be based on internet impressions. Like, remember Andrew Tate became the most Googled man in his impressions, right?
Yeah.
So you would essentially, I think some other people have tried to do something version.
I mean,
of
always
this,
whenever there is a trend, some coin pops up. Like there was a Tate coin. And Tate was like, I'm not involved in this in any way.
No. But it wouldn't be. So I understand that's the general principle, but I'm saying tied exactly to impressions.
What's the utility of it, though?
There is none.
Oh, you just want it as a way to gamble on it?
Oh, yeah, I guess it needs a utility.
Yeah.
No, there's no utility. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a gambling thing, I guess. I guess you're just betting on impressions then.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do an over-under on impressions, there's betting markets where you could just probably put that proposition up saying, like, this person will get...
I feel like I could kill it on there.
Well, the problem is
feel like I
you need
could
to take
predict-
someone... You need someone to take the other side of it, though, right?
Yeah, they will. Yo, idiots will be like, no, this Ukraine thing in 2 years we'll be talking about it just as much. I bet you most of these things, if you get, but then it forces them to put their money where their mouth is. They go, dude, this is the biggest thing we're going to be talking about. This new activist thing that you're not. I go, we're not going to hear about this, and you go, no, we're going to be talking about this every day. I go, oh, good. You can make money on that opinion.
I guess if you could, what about?
I think people will bet on it.
Yeah, you could,
and then they can put their proceeds to the cause.
Yeah.
I can
Instead of
rinse
having
these
to just
suckers.
like what is it, like those Twitter accounts where people taking L's and then you just show them 6 months later to dunk on them.
I love
That's
that.
the current equivalent of how you do that deal with that thing is you just dunk on them 6 months later with their takes.
Well, I will say that the final thing where they go 61% would rather hang out with their children than spend time on DIY, while 49% of millennial dads say they've done better with their own dads at spending quality time with their kids. So that's another thing that they're saying, that on top of that, it's like all these boomer dads are like, yeah, my kid doesn't know over a hammer, and then the argument to that was like, he never barely met you.
It's like, yeah, you don't know my birthday, Dad. You don't know my birthday, Richard.
Yeah, you sent this idiot to get a college degree, take out all this debt, Richard. Yeah, Richard. All these things. You know the reverse mortgages? Where like, because like a lot of these boomers, kind of some of them, like not the immigrant ones as much, but like, inherited money. And then a lot of boomers will take reverse mortgages where instead of like putting their house in inheritance, they just like bleed it back till they die. So
they just get all the money.
Yeah, but so they plan it to literally die with $0.
Yeah, they're getting it's the Warren Buffett treatment.
Yeah, and then you go,
you ain't getting nothing.
And then you go, yeah, but my kid can't use a drill. And you go,
well, that's why you're getting reverse mortgage, because you can't use a drill. You had it too good for too long, kid.
Yeah, it's just a different world, and being able to sort of like run your life optimally and has changed in some degree. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but it's like just someone that lived in like a different world, completely saying like, it's like, anyone could go back further and be like, this guy doesn't even know how to cobble a shoe. And you go, yeah, those skills become increasingly like less useful.
Yeah, for sure.
They're useful once a year when you move.
And like, I mean, again, somewhere like New York City.
There's probably people yelling at me right now.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of people who are listening to this going, no, I like fixing
Shut
stuff.
up, Ryan.
No, we have people who are listening to this right now fixing something. They're like, yeah, I have some like fixing.
If you like fixing, I don't think there's anything wrong with fixing something.
No. You shouldn't be shamed for it.
And to be honest, if you're our age, I actually don't mind you shaming. If I have someone that's around the same age bracket, that's like, yo, you can't fix this. Like, they had the same life.
Yeah.
But it's like,
for an old person.
If you're a fucking 60 years old, you're living in a different world.
Yeah, agreed. No, agreed. Totally different thing. Shout out to the Bug Men and Bug Women.
We are going to take another quick second here to tell you about Fitbod app. And that's another thing we're talking about, the Bug Man thing. People are more fit now too.
Yeah,
people know. A lot of these old dads that are talking smack about these, they weren't in shape. They didn't go to the gym as regularly. That's a more common thing.
They just did their
for men
yard
now.
work.
I think, yeah. A lot of guys know that that's part of the package if you want to look good. And if you want to, be healthier and live longer and all of that sort of stuff. So life can start to get busy again after these summer months, and the days get shorter, the calendar fills up, work gets hectic, and it gets hard to find time for a workout. It's easy to fall out of the good habits like exercising when the fun season turns into busy season. Putting off working out leads to the same old New Year's resolution to get back into shape. But Fitbod can change that. It's a smart workout app that scientifically tailors an exercise program to your goals, equipment, and schedule so you can keep the full calendar and your summer gains. Wherever you are, if I'm in a hotel room, if you're in the hotel gym with not that many things, if you're in your home gym, it can give you a workout that works for you. So that's what I have been doing. That's one of the best parts about it. And as well, another big benefit is the algorithm changes and updates the fitness plans as you go, so you don't get bored. Fitbod's smart workout app creates a custom dynamic exercise program based on your goals, experience, and equipment that varies your routine to avoid overtraining. You can see your muscle usage, recovery, achievements, and workout streaks right in the app. For less than the cost of one session with a personal trainer, you get a full year of personalized workouts with Fitbod. Fit exercise into your schedule because the best time of day to exercise is when you're free. I agree, especially for people that don't have necessarily a traditional scheduling situation. This makes it much, much easier. The app is super easy to use with video tutorials and make learning new exercises a breeze. To keep your workout momentum going now that we exited the summer, get personalized workouts from Fitbod that get tougher as you do. Get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/boyscast. 25% off your subscription, or you try it out for free first, fitbod.me/boyscast. There's our organization called Pissed Off Trannies. That's what they're called. Which I don't know. Is that like the N-word right now? Where like they can
No.
say it? No, but they can say it, but you can't say it. Is that sort of the idea?
I don't think so.
Is that their like
Maybe.
NWA?
No, I don't think so. No, it's definitely not in that. I mean, just the fact that you said it.
Well, that's the name of their organization.
I know that. Yeah.
They staged a dramatic demonstration to protest the Equality Watchdog's exclusionary policy on single-sex spaces. And what they did was this, basically, there's this organization in Britain, and they said they're not going to make it illegal for people to have men and women's washrooms, right?
Uh-huh.
And then ones that people actually have to go into the gender, like if you have a penis, you have to go to the guy's one or whatever. Like people reserve the right to do that legally, right? So they didn't. So stupid. And then POT, the organization, a couple of them got together.
It's a bit of a pun too.
Yeah. they got together. Well, wait, actually. Pot? That's what I thought you were saying. But.
No. Well, pot, but then pissed off trannies. But there's more. They're more than just pissed off.
Oh, so basically,
they're not just mad.
Yeah, they're pissing on because they filled up a bunch of jars with pee. So they filled up all these jars with pee, and then they took like 50 of them, and then that was the protest, right?
Real Trailer Park vibes. Trailer Park Boys vibes right now. Piss jars everywhere.
You ever had the piss jars?
Piss bottles? Dude, New York City, I've never seen... I see piss bottles here.
I piss in a bottle in New York City, but I usually throw it in the garbage. So it's hard to find a bathroom sometimes.
I know. New York City's really hard. Dude, I remember... I can't remember. I was biking down, like, up some avenue or whatever. Some guy got out of his car ahead of me, and he was pouring his piss bottle into the lane, like in front of me, and I looked at him. He goes, "It's New York!" And I go, "Yeah, I don't know."
Yeah.
Just jumping out.
Mind your business, Bugman.
I was just biking. I'm biking here.
He didn't like you looking at him?
I was biking. I don't know. I just saw a guy pouring out piss. And he looked at me and goes, "It's New York."
It's a fair point, I guess.
It is.
That's what I do anytime I don't get a sandwich made. I start getting the bottles out. I go, "Listen, we can do this one of two ways." Start pissing everywhere.
This is the new self-immolation.
Yeah, you have like...
Instead of lighting yourself on fire, you just pour piss on your head.
Yeah, so... Do you think that they had the meeting... Where this is kind of what I was saying, where these organizations, the most like wacky activists always sort of take over. Do you think that there's some sort of moderate people that are like, let's do a demonstration? The one guy's like, we're pissing everywhere, and then the other person's like, people are gonna. I don't know if that's the move. And it's like, do you not care about?
Yeah, are you not pissed off?
Yeah, are you not pissed off?
We need to make a statement. There's one person here, especially looking at these photos. There's one person who's going around to everybody and be like, "You should drink more water, man. Look how..." Because there's no
yellow.
clear piss. These are all like dark shades of yellow. Is this real? Like, not is this real? Like, obviously this whole thing happened, but like, I wonder if
I thought it was interesting that they had Coldplay playing at the.
Like some of these peas are
Instead
like,
of
actually no, they are very. Dude, one of the bottles of piss is orange. That's a dark piss right there.
Yeah.
Imagine you got to be like.
well, they're probably on a lot of hormones and all that kind of stuff, right?
But you think they save them for last? That's
think about all the testosterone. Oh, I guess they're guy to girl. They would.
Yeah, I think they.
I
both
saw that
of those, no?
estrogen. They're fucking inhaling.
But like, do you think they're like really being like, I'm gonna start with the lighter ones and work my way into the real amber peas to pour on my head?
The pouring on the head is crazy. Do you know how they do at the Rage Against the Machine at like the Antifa rallies? It'll be like these ones. It's like mellow yellow, and then
They call them mellow yellow.
that's what they have blast. They all have like a huge speaker blasting. And we were all yellow.
And then whoever does the best is they go to interview them after. Go. So how did you feel about your piss performance today? But jumping the piss, go. It felt pretty good. And then all the other people come with the jerry can. And they dump a huge thing of piss on them.
They get the Gatorade.
The Gatorade. Oh God! Yes, fucking guys.
You're the MVP.
This guy's MVP
With 2 E's.
Most valuable
No.
pisser.
And no, MVP EE.
Disgusting.
That's so good. Getting the Gatorade dumped because that's a heavy flow today, woman. I guess not, bro. The representative said that it was ceremonial urine in the offices of Westminster, London, and it was staged as what they described as a piss-in. One girl had a bejeweled gown, and before she poured the bottle of urine on herself. That'd be funny if it was sort of an accident. She was just like carrying them all and then spilled them all over each other, and she was kind of like, actually, that's
save face.
Yeah. That's how far I'm willing to go for this thing. Well, I used to have that old joke where there was the doctor that called me and they said they lost my pee, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and then I said, really? And she was like, it happens like frequently. It's not a big deal. And I was like, it sounds like something that shouldn't be happening frequently. Where doctors just like, the doctor is carrying all the pee bottles from like the other like clinic. He's on rollerblades, like
Ball bearings.
Yeah.
Someone accidentally spills ball bearings.
like, why do you keep spilling everyone's pee?
It happens.
The activists speaking to Vice, and Vice is saying this like, there's a big war going on between feminists and the trans people or whatever. But they go, speaking to Vice on the condition of anonymity, described the dramatic action as the extreme version of the embarrassment that they feel on a daily basis. But it is one of those things where it is kind of like, you feel like you'd want to throw the piss on other people because there's just
I guess that's
this is what I feel always.
You go, you know how embarrassing it is to be trans? Anyways, here's a bunch of piss I'm going to dump on my head.
Yeah, I don't really see how that's sticking to them.
Yeah.
You put the piss on the doors or something.
Yeah, you're just making it worse for yourself.
And they also said, we want people to know that protesting can be enjoyable, theatrical, and even exciting. And they can be full of rage, but still have fun. So they want them to have fun with it.
How about this for trans people?
That'd be fun. How good, though, is that you're the guy that they're just like, all right, like all the trans people, we're going to be pouring like piss all over each other. The one person's like, yeah.
The one dissenter?
Yeah. We're doing on us? I don't know if I have to go.
Whose piss is it?
Bummer. I don't have to go.
Oh. All right. I guess we're not in a piss.
Yeah, do you even get your own piss, or is it just sort of like
it's
mix
random.
it up and you just pour
and then you're maybe hoping that you did you did yours in a Gatorade bottle. You go, I'll grab the Gatorade bottle, but then there's like 4 Gatorade bottles, and now you're like, oh, what
dilemma
color?
Of the
what
year.
color was my piss?
Yeah, it's also, there's probably one of the people that like, that's their fetish, you know what I mean? He's been probably,
of course.
Yeah, the one like chick that's been like, I've been trying to get these people to pee on me for 6 months, and he's like, every meeting he's like, you know what'll really show them if you pissed in my mouth.
You guys all waterboard me with piss. You go, no.
Don't even film it, just in the back room. That'll teach them. Teach them a real lesson. The one person that's not even trans, like just some guy.
Yeah, just some creep because I'd like to join your protest.
Yeah, if you want to really fucking stick it to them, stick it in here. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Look, I'm not into giving people advice, but if trans people want to protest bathrooms, the proper way to do it is a national day of upper deckers. Okay? That's how you protest bathroom politics, okay? You go in every bathroom you can find, every trans person goes in a bathroom that is violating their rights and you leave an upper decker in solidarity with all trans people. Dude, imagine the news that goes like, just like plumbing supplies are running short. There's a plumber shortage.
Yeah, because of all the bug men.
Yeah, because there's too many bug men. There's not enough plumbers. There's too many upper deckers. Too many trans people. Problem solved.
That is like a pretty, if you were in charge and you actually did that idea, you go for one day. That being said, if it was National Upper Decker Day for trans people, and a trans person tried to use your bathroom. Like you want to see bathroom problems before you go, and like 3 trans people come into your McDonald's on Upper Deck.
Well, what are you gonna say? No to them? That's a whole new problem.
You'd have to have the thing duct taped down.
Yeah, it's locked. It's like there's literally like a latch with a padlock.
I definitely would.
All right, everybody. Tomorrow's National Upper Decker Day. We need you to secure the toilets.
I think you definitely would be a little more skeptical.
They got their lock picking kits going in there, just picking the locks.
No, it would legitimately be like, even the biggest like person that the cliche of like really doesn't like trans people.
Yeah.
He goes, you see him going in like the Walmart girl's bathroom. You go, he better be just trying to molest a kid. Like she better just be trying. Hey, you can go in there, but you better just be trying to creep on women.
The amount of people like pick up the top of the thing and they go, someone's already got it. Beat me to it.
Yeah.
Some ally beat me to it. Just put it back on.
National Upper Decker Day would be a good protest for something like, it doesn't have to be for that though either. You know what I mean? Like dudes protesting something, that'd be a better dude protest.
That would be a good dude, especially if you do it in a women's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to protest women, let's do a National Upper Decker Day in women's
If we
bathroom.
have a protest, 100%, like let's say the next time they like kick a guy off Instagram or Facebook and they kick him off all platforms that like dudes kind of fuck
that'll
with.
be when Portnoy gets banned off of everything.
Someone that like
National
dudes
Upper
like,
Decker
you know what I
Day.
mean?
Yeah.
And then that they kick off every platform and dudes unite and they go, this Wednesday, National Upper Decker.
Show your support for whoever. By
I accidentally
doing
just straight up went to a girl's bathroom the other day. At the airport too.
Oh really?
Yeah, I walked in and then I walked in and didn't even notice. I was like, you don't know these days because there's no urinals, but you're like, I don't know, it's one of those,
I mean, airport.
uppity places,
Every
right?
male bathroom in an airport has multiple urinals.
I think it was an airport, but it just didn't cross my mind because I'm saying a lot of times that happens, right? I'm so progressive. And then I walk out and I was like washing my hands and there was like 3 girls looking at me and I was just like, oh, there you go. I was like,
it's tougher when you.
No, one of the girls actually walked in, saw me, and then was like, "Oh shit, am I?"
Oh, she's in the wrong one.
Yeah.
And then would you?
Well, no. Then she saw the other girls, and she was even more confused.
Did you think that you were just like? Do you think that maybe thought, wow, that trans guy is like?
No,
really
immediately
convincing.
I was like, I think I fucked up. No, because I
No, but I'm
saw,
saying, do you think they thought they go, is this a trans?
oh
man?
right, yeah. If they were progressive,
And you go, man, they're getting good with this shit. Wow.
Yeah, they make him that big
It's like
now.
6'4"?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What happened? Yeah, but I think what happens is I saw the girl, looked around, saw that there was no urinals, did that quick math.
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, ladies.
Sorry, ladies.
All right, ladies.
Apologize for the upper decker in advance.
85% of divorce is initiated by women is a stat that I've come across.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different theories. So this article that, one of the things that I felt like is interesting to talk about in the context of this. So 85% of divorces now are initiated by women and 50% of people approximately get divorced. And if you get divorced younger, it's even more than that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that 50% is like a big portion of people that are, not 70, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at probably like 70% of women, period, that are married getting divorced, like that are, in their 30s or something.
Okay.
If you kind of, do the math on those numbers, right?
Okay.
So I think that one thing is they're going to tell why, which is, probably going to be wrong.
Men.
There's a few things they said are right, a few things they said are wrong. But a lot of it's that. But the other interesting part is like, what do you do with that information as a guy? Where you go, you know what I mean?
Nothing.
Well, I think you don't think you make any changes on that?
If you're a guy in terms of, well, I mean, again, if you're in a relationship, a girl who wants to get married, Like, are you saying do some of this stuff that they're saying so that you don't wind up in divorce?
There's both. So I think I have solutions to both.
Yeah.
But just if you look at the demographics, you gotta be honest to yourself about that stuff. You go, if I'm in this demographic where it's like a lot of it is, a huge part of it is that the girls make as much money as guys, and it's a biggest grass is greener situation.
A lot
in the
of
history
emotional
the world,
labor
right?
too.
Grass is greener. The world telling women that there is a, kind of a better life for them, that,
they don't
in
need
some
any
cases
man.
there is, some cases there isn't. Yeah, I potentially don't need a man. A big part is that they work now, so they can leave easier, whereas before they couldn't leave. But the biggest part is probably that they make the same amount of money, so there's a power dynamic. And every girl, I always think of it as like a dude that dates a girl that's like less good looking as him. You're kind of always thinking like in the back of your head, like, I could have probably had a hotter one.
Yeah.
That like kind of doesn't go away that much, right? I bet you a lot of guys probably have that where it's like, I could have done better than this. But what you mean is her looks.
Yeah.
Whereas girls, if they date a guy that like makes a little less money, always in the back of their head to be like,
I could have nicer stuff.
Yeah, I could have an extra $30,000 a year if I just chose differently.
Yeah, because this vacation could have been nicer.
Yeah, so I think that knowing that, the biggest thing that I would say you do with that is someone younger. So that's the biggest solution to that.
But it's different for women though, because say if you're a woman and you're 40, and yes, you make more money, but you're like, at that point, you're not necessarily, your offering has changed.
What do you mean?
Like because again, like youth is obviously more favored.
Yeah, but you're describing reality. I'm describing why they are moving the way that they move.
Oh,
so
right.
because you're saying like their argument is going to be something along the lines.
Like I'm going
of
to go trade up, but you're like your values changed.
But that's not how they see it.
Yeah.
So but you know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely.
Because I agree that you go, like
women unrealistic, never.
But that's like there is some of it as like these ladies need a reality check, but it's like. I always say it's the same as when, girls are like, why don't you tell men to stop attacking me instead of like telling me not to run at 4 a.m. through the projects? And you go, okay, well, until that happens. So it's like, yes,
sure.
You know what I mean? You go, well, maybe these girls need a reality check. And you go, okay, well, until
this,
like that, until this mass reality check happens. I think you gotta
start taking reality pills, government mandated. Let's do this.
So until the mass reality check happens, a big way to solve a lot of but basically you go, men and women used to have a sort of a power dynamic, and then now that power dynamic has shifted. But if you date someone that's younger than you, it's back to normal.
Yeah. Of course.
So I mean, that's an easy solution, right? So it's like, I think guys that are 20 need to start thinking like, I don't settle down with the girl that you're like is your age right now. It could potentially hurt you in the future. Unless,
yes and no.
Unless it depends on. But if you're in the situation, if you're in a situation where you're like, I'm going to be with some chick and I'm going to be the breadwinner anyway, it's like this might not apply.
Yeah, but I'd say if two 20-year-olds get together, say they get married and then they get divorced at 30, I'd arguably rather be the 30-year-old divorced guy than the 30-year-old divorced woman.
Well, that's another thing that I would agree with you. So you're kind of on the money with that. That there's another point where you go the other way where you're like. Yeah, just be okay with the fact that you might probably get divorced.
I mean, it's just like relationships end. Everybody's.
Well, they didn't
most people
used
have.
to.
I know, but because it was just laws. The whole culture was different, and there was maybe laws and stuff. But most people, their marriage is not their first relationship, so they understand that relationships end and just treat it as a relationship and not some next level thing. It's just
it is a next level thing.
I know because of your contracts and whatnot, but
it's a huge next level thing.
But I'm just trying to simplify.
There's kids getting split. Like, dude, there's horror stories of dudes that have like, we know ones of horror stories of guys that have just their, they're like, get all their money, whatever. You can't see their kids. So I don't think it's just like it's not this like easy fix.
It's not an easy fix. Thing. No. Obviously, it's not an easy fix. And once you have kids, but I'm saying if you have a kid, who cares if you're married or not? That complication is now there. If you have a kid out of wedlock in your common law, you knock a girl up or whatever, like your life has that complication, regardless of how you see, the structure of it. So I would just say with that. But I mean, that is crazy. 85% of women. Initial relationships. I think guys can tolerate a bad circumstance.
That's another component.
Like they'll be like, that's literally what the man cave is for. is to prolong an unhappy marriage.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, I'll be down there. Leave me alone.
They have more hobbies. Well, that's a big part of it. The girls put all their like stock. They put way more stock in their relationship. Whereas guys, you go, that's just like a part of. If you look at your life and you go, I have like 6 things, and you're just like, yeah, that one I'm not loving.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, but it looks like we're gonna win the men's hockey league championship, so that balances out my horrible
I
relationship.
think so, right? The girls are getting uppity though.
They are.
They're looking to get out. So because their thing is, but you go, yeah, how am I gonna like win with that information? I think there's like a few things that you can change, but they go, statistics suggest that more women are unsatisfied in their marriages, at least to the point of ending them. But it's always, this is the thing that these people are kind of saying, and they're like blaming it on, they're like victim shaming the guy who got divorced in a lot of the cases. But you go, okay, but like it hasn't changed in every other country, and it like hasn't changed like all these other places. You go, so why is it just here? And you go, is it possible that like, and you go, because they'll be like, and women are don't want to have a bad deal, and be like, okay, but why is that not the case everywhere else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a valid point.
There are certainly many reasons for the dissatisfaction. However, his husband and his actions and lack of them play a significant role in causing, and so they are victim shaming.
Yeah.
Where the guy gets,
I mean, it's always, obviously in their mind too, 85% of women initiate divorces.
Be better, man.
And 85% of divorces are men's fault.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
So be better, man, is their first thing. But if you do have like a, this like bitch is thinking like that, you go, in her mind, she's like, she could leave. You got to always have in your mind, like 1 foot out the door. You got to have a little extra money on the side. You know what I mean? You know that they're looking to upgrade like that. You got to fucking treat the situation accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. You start bettering yourself, preparing for the wave.
No, you start worsening yourself.
Or
you go, I dare you.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
I wish you would. Fuck around and find out.
But yeah. So the statistics suggest that they're unsatisfied, and they're saying it's a guy's fault. Several years ago, a college professor, for example, whose marriage has been sinking, found himself on the way to divorce. When his wife asked him if he wanted a divorce, he said, I don't care. And then she smiled after.
Yeah, because he didn't care. He goes, honestly, like...
I really thought you were going to disagree and I was going to fight about this. Like, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it, I guess.
Yeah, but there's...
Well, she whittled him down. Like, that's the thing. Is she whittled down his spirit.
He stopped fighting with them. When you let your spirit disappear, that's when they really find that you're unattractive.
Sure. But then that's when you also get to the point where he goes like, do you want to get divorced? He goes, I don't know, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But there is...
yeah, I guess, yeah.
There's a lot of dudes that you stop fighting, which I get, but it's like as soon as you stop fighting, it'll be some other guy that's got an invigorated spirit, and that guy will start looking better and be like, yeah, you're going to do that to him too. But
yeah. Yep.
Several years ago, so this guy, he basically is like exactly what you were describing, and the husband can do a better job of keeping the wife happy. So here's how. So they've given a big list of how to keep a man happy. See, this is what this the millennial man is under constant attack. It's like
under barrage.
You're not good enough for your wife. Like you need to be better at fixing stuff. It's like this. Like it's just this constant attack, and be like. Yeah. Like, so guys our age were just born worse? Like, is it possible that there's more at play here?
And they're like, yeah, we want traditional man. Not like that, and just with fixing stuff.
And they're the scapegoat for everything because, like, all things where they're like, white men are bad. Yeah, let's get rid of a bunch. Like, obviously not the 60 seniors. Like, these guys aren't going anywhere.
No. We got to fight back. It's time for the boys to fight back.
I think the trick is you just got to know this stuff. It'd be like,
well, that's part of the
don't play games you can't win. You go, nah, I'm not going to get divorced. We're not going to get married. You're just going to divorce me. So
yeah, exactly. Or when she goes, it's time to get divorced, you go, all right.
Some of the things
don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Yeah, you got to know.
Like, not even like, don't even fight a shred for the marriage.
Never.
She goes, I want a divorce. You go, yeah, I got the papers ready to go. Actually,
I had the papers kicking.
You give her one of these. What took you so long? Here's the papers.
What took you so long is exactly you're stroking a cat. By the way, you're taking this cat, never wanted it in the first place.
I'm fucking allergic to this goddamn piece of shit. Hate it.
You will be taking the cat. It'd be nice to have some bathroom space again. So actually, I'll just move into my other apartment. You have another apartment? Yeah.
Yeah, it's rent control. I'm not giving that shit up.
Yeah. Why do you think I wanted such a cheap one here? I'm paying a second rent, babe. So then they give a list of stuff where they say you should do, and some of it's like pretty normal. They go, maybe he can tell his wife he loves her. He can show his wife he loves her.
Yeah, except he doesn't love her anymore. She wore him down. He doesn't feel love.
It's Daniel, you hit the nail on the head, because it's such a thing of that. And also where you go, a lot of times these guys who are in these, marriages with these girls with wandering eyes, so to speak, you are getting these like passive aggressive battles. And when you're kind of like bickering all the time, you're not in the mood to be like, hey, I just want to tell you I love you. You don't. You hate her at that moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's an adversary.
She walks in the room and you go, ugh. Like, obviously, again, I've been in good situations and bad situations, but it's just like the idea of, I say that this is the women's advice is just what men should do better. It was like, that's why you can't look at the world like they do. And not all women, obviously, right? But
not all women.
No, I just know girls that aren't like this. But that's why you have to look at the world of like, these are the way things are. How do I win it? And I think a huge one is date a girl that you have some like power dynamic over in some way, or else she'll get bored of you.
Yeah.
Because she'll just be like, I could have this guy, but better, And it might not be the case. It might be that.
But isn't that a win in of itself when she thinks she can, and then you find her 10 years later? And
depends how you look at life. You go, is that a win for you that like your enemies who you don't have any contact with get one? A little one, but it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah, it doesn't help you at all.
He can recharge her battery when she's tired and worn out. This is just
it's like all just like give her a foot rub.
Yeah. It's a list of
Make her favorite cake.
Anticipate her needs by making her life easier, loading the dishwasher, wiping off the table, making her lunch the night before. So now you're making her lunch.
Yeah.
I don't think
they're really turning us into bug men, huh?
Yeah.
With the threat of
you're
divorce.
getting it on both sides. I'm telling you. This is the stuff I'm telling you. They got
wear an apron, emasculate yourself.
They've literally got articles being like, yo, are you a 28-year-old man? Okay, well, you need to be better at fixing stuff. Also, you didn't make your wife's lunch?
Have you considered chemical castration?
Yeah. He can recognize the small and simple things. So that's, and then they said, so this other one, the same topic of divorce. Here's a list of things that men could do better. And they go, or here's a list of reasons why women leave the marriage. And they go, women are more likely to feel held back by their marriage.
I doubt that.
What do you mean?
Women feel more held back?
Than they used to.
Oh, than they used to.
I think is probably the argument.
I thought I meant compared to men.
Yeah, which I think is probably more like, men have always had a little bit of that, and women are having it more now because they have a job and they're just like, oh, I gotta deal with all this stuff too, and whatever. I mean, it's the same thing. Everyone is like always making choices.
Yeah,
right?
it's compromises. You're always making compromises.
Yeah, and then they go, despite having more on their plates and their careers, so they. That's another thing where you go, well, it depends. Those scenarios, it's like, well, who does make more money? That's one thing I feel like. There's a lot of people that talk about the idea where it's kind of like, obviously if one person makes more money and one person makes less money, then it should still be even everything else, blah, blah. And you go, yeah, but like a lot of times the person that makes more money, especially if it's significant, like their fucking life is harder and more stressful. Yeah, like that idea that, the guy, like, yes, there are examples of, and I think your kind of school of thought, there's a lot of examples of people that find out ways to like get rich without working that hard. But most people that I know that have a lot of money, like work really fucking hard.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm sure there's a lot of instances where two couples are like both work at, public companies and are like some sort of, they work in somewhere higher up, but one of them makes 4 times as much as the other one just because one's like, in the hierarchy.
Yeah, but they have more stress. They have more people on their brain. They have more like inputs to deal with. I mean, just the idea of like managing like you want to talk about managing emotions. Like if you have like 40 employees that you're sort of in charge of them, like their productivity, like that is,
of course.
But I'm saying those things like they are tangible. So there is, you have to look at the scenario before you make that one. But yeah, a lot of it does boil down to that they want to like date up. But they go, women often take on more of the emotional burden. So that's what I just said is like they're forgetting these other emotional burdens a lot of times that also exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Emotional labor.
Communication is key in any marriage, but often in an area where many couples struggle. So communicate more. But none of this changed in the last 20 years. And then they go, more of the emotional responsibilities. In some cases, this may include being the sole emotional support system for the entire family. So, yeah, that can be true. All of this can be true.
Yeah, it can be true. And they say that men are not taught how they can communicate properly. It's like, it's not that they don't know how to. They're just tired of talking so much. Just don't want to.
Yeah, you do get very much tired of talking.
Yeah, it's just
that's one of my biggest arguments that I have. It's like, and I'm a fairly chatty person, and I'm
too.
tired of it.
Yeah, and I just go like, I don't want to talk right now.
I can't.
I just don't want to talk anything, and then they go like, oh, so
You don't want to talk to me?
I go, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I go, I'm not anybody.
I'm
You go,
fine
"In this
being here
instance,
with you, but it's just like, just silence.
Telling you, just men need fucking safe rooms.
Well, you want to
Silent.
think. You have to think.
Every guy who's watching this podcast who has a girlfriend or kids or anything, at some point in the last week or two, has just gone and stood in the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't.
Not to even take a
much.
shit, but just stood there, just sat on the toilet, on the toilet seat, but pants on.
Yeah,
just on
I
their
do
phone.
that
Just,
sometimes.
yeah, you gotta get.
You know what else I do sometimes? Probably maybe once or twice a week is just go in the shower, clothes on, turn it on, and just stand there.
Just to really feel something, you know, ice cold.
Ice cold. Doesn't even hit me.
Doesn't feel it.
And they said women no longer tolerate consistent, unacceptable behavior. So they're kind of, all their whole thing is that men need to step it up and blah blah. And you go,
women are perfect queens.
yeah. And then on top of that, one of the things that they're forgetting too is that on most of these scenarios, you're like, men are doing this stuff, and it was like, yeah, and men used to have a wife. Now you kind of have a roommate in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
Like it's also just the whole deal's a different deal. Like you can't support families as much on like one family. So you basically have a guy that's like he used to have essentially like a wife who did a bunch of stuff. Now you're both like roommates living together. So it's just a different dynamic.
Yeah.
And she's always kind of like,
and she's not pumped that you keep calling her your roommate.
Yeah, she hates that you keep calling her roommate.
You keep referring to her as your roommate to all your friends.
I feel like dealing with bills. That's like when I say opposite of Bugman things. And one of the things that I feel like that's like actually is sort of a masculine thing versus feminine thing that I feel like I'm a person that does take on all these jobs.
Yeah.
Negotiating, like, you know what I mean? Like this place is trying to move our tickets around, fighting with the people.
Yeah.
I'll take all those jobs because I feel like I'm better at it and also do it. Dealing with bills and stuff like that.
I also.
Like that kind of stuff.
Dude, I had to go cancel mine and my girl's Spectrum. Oh, man, it was one of the best feelings to walk into that store and drop all that bullshit off to them. Yeah. Being like, oh, have you want to reconsider? I go, get the fuck out of my life forever. I hate Spectrum.
Well, also, they when you talk about that reality check, part of that reality check would be the idea that it's not so great on the other side. I think that I'm aware of that a lot of times more now in my life where it's always greener and you go, it's not really, like it's just a different type of brown.
Yeah, it's just, different type of brown. That's dark. Yeah,
sometimes.
So again, it's greener temporarily because the sun's out over there, and then you get there, and then the sun sets, and you go, it's the same grass.
Right, but yeah, it's not. So sometimes, yeah, when I was looking at, like, the girls who were, that's why I'll do this on the Patreon, but the girls who are saying they want to do OnlyFans, and it's like, we go look at the OnlyFans Reddit, and then what's going on in the OnlyFans Reddit, it's like, my life's hell, this sucks.
It's all like suicide watch. And
but a lot of those girls are the same girl, that, like, every article was like, empower yourself, be this, be that, lose the boyfriend, do this, and then you go, how to work out, and you go, worse, yeah.
Way worse. Way worse. They have been deceived. They've been sold a lie.
Yeah, everyone's been sold somewhat of a lie.
Yep.
A lot of lies being sold.
A lot of lies being sold.
I'll tell you who's lying. The media. The Queen Elizabeth lied to me when she told me she was going to tell me the information.
King Charles ain't lying, though. King Charles cannot tell a lie.
Cannot tell a lie. But, so we do have, we got a good episode for the Patreon. I got lots of good stuff. So come on over, patreon.com/theboyscast.
Come on over. The water's warm.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to the BOYSCAST.
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for